Yo, Amateur Lore here, and we're back with some more draft content. This time looking at some of the MAC conference's highest NFL draft picks since 2000. Be sure to comment down below the conference you want me to cover next or just any topics you might find interesting. If you enjoy the content, please leave a like and a subscription. Anyway, let's jump right into the video. First team up in the Bernie MAC conference is the Akron Zips. And let me just say this, going from looking at the SEC conference's Pro Football Reference page to seeing Akron's definitely hit me with a little whiplash. I don't know what I expected from the Zips, because I know their lore isn't too good. I guess I thought LeBron was helping out with the program for some reason, but that was definitely a stretch on my part. I will say this though, I was extremely surprised to find out that one of my dad's favorite ball players and one of the best Dolphins of all time, Jason Taylor, went to Akron. So there's a little fun fact. Anyway, for Akron's highest NFL draft pick since 2000, we have to go back to 2005, when the Cleveland Browns would select quarterback Charlie Frye in the 3rd round with the 67th overall pick. He would put together a 5-year NFL career and even start a full season for the Browns back in 2006. But that's about it. He was never really an impact player at the next level, but I'll never hate on a dude making it to the league, especially when you do it coming from a mid-major school. Respect. Next team up in the MAC, we got the Ball State Cardinals. And shout out to them, because when I was a kid growing up, I vividly remember my mom letting me stay up late one night all the way back in like 2008 and watching 14th ranked Ball State play against Central Michigan. And yes, they did win. I'm not 100% sure, it was a while ago, but Ball State was probably the first mid-major as a child I rooted for. Because I always like to see the little guys win. And fast forward today, my whole channel is basically me edging the underdogs who shocked the college football world. Anyway, while the Cardinals have made an impact on me, they haven't really made an impact in the NFL draft. But they still have sent a couple of dudes to the league, with their highest since 2000 coming back in 2009, when the Dallas Cowboys would select tackle Robert Brewster in the 3rd round with the 75th overall pick. Not really much to say about this pick. He only played one game with the Cowboys and would be out of the league, but at least he made it. From one bird in the MAC, we move on to another one with the Bowling Green Falcons. And let me just say this now. This video will probably come out before the 2025 NFL draft, and I'm almost positive that their star tight end, Harold Fandon Jr., will be their highest selection since 2000. But we're not quite there yet. So for Bowling Green's highest NFL draft pick since 2000, we have to go back to the 2008 NFL draft, when the Denver Broncos would select Corey Lichtensteiger in the 4th round with the 108th overall pick. Brody had a pretty good NFL career, playing for a total of 8 years and starting 75 games. Which is huge for a 4th round pick. Shout out to him. Leaving Ohio the Anime, we head up to New York for the next team in the MAC, the Buffalo Bulls. Come on, I think we all know who their highest NFL draft pick since 2000 is. And if you don't, then come on man, catch up on your MAC lore. And I didn't know that was going to be a bar, but it low-key is. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, whatever. So the Bulls' highest pick since 2000 is the linebacker Khalil Mack, who would be drafted in 2014 by the Oakland Raiders with the 5th overall pick. Mack has put together, in my opinion, a Hall of Fame resume, making 9 Pro Bowls, being a first-team All-Pro 3 times, with a Defensive Player of the Year award to put a cherry on top. Not too bad for a MAC school. They produced one of the best defensive players of the late 2010s. Next team up in the MAC conference is the Central Michigan Chippewas. And this is the first team I've covered in this video so far that really surprised me with how good their draft history has been. Having 2 first-round picks in the last 20 years, as well as producing a pretty high-level NFL wide receiver in Antonio Brown. And I know he probably won't make the Hall of Fame for we all know why, even though he easily put up Hall of Fame stats. But we're not here for Brown. He was picked all the way in the 6th round. For Central Michigan's highest NFL draft pick since 2000, we have to go back to 2013 when the Kansas City Chiefs would select tackle Eric Fisher with the 1st overall pick. Yeah, you heard that right. The Chippewas have produced a #1 overall pick. For Eric Fisher's career, I really don't know how to judge offensive linemen, but he won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs and played 9 years in the NFL, making 2 Pro Bowls. Not the best for a #1 overall pick, but not too bad either. Leaving Central Michigan, we head east over to Eastern Michigan for the next team up in the MAC, the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Real quick, I have to admit, I had no idea Max Crosby went to Eastern Michigan. That was definitely a big surprise to me, and he is, in my opinion, probably the best player to come out of Eastern Michigan, as Crosby has been to 4 straight Pro Bowls and been voted as an All-Pro multiple times. However, he was selected in the 4th round with the 106th overall pick by the Oakland Raiders, and while that is good enough for the Eagles' 2nd best NFL draft pick, for first we have to go back to 2008, when the Tennessee Titans would select defensive end Jason Jones in the 2nd round with the 54th overall pick. Jason Jones would be a decent rotation piece for 9 years in the NFL, which for a 2nd round pick out of a mid-major, not too bad. Okay, so for the Kent State Golden Flash, no cap, this MAC school's draft history is pretty bad. Huge shout out to Julian Edelman though, as he went to this college and we all know he would have a pretty decent NFL career, helping Tom Brady win a couple of Super Bowls. However, he was drafted in the 7th round, and even for Kent State, that's a little too low to be their highest NFL draft pick. So for that, we have to go back to 2007 when the New Orleans Saints would select cornerback Usama Young in the 3rd round with the 66th overall pick. Brady never really started, was always more of a death piece, but he managed to stick around for 8 years and even won a Super Bowl. WNFL career if you ask me. Next team up in the MAC is the UMass Minutemen. We're going to speed by this school's entry as they've only had 6 players since 2000 drafted, which so far might be the worst draft history in the conference. I know I said that about Kent State, but UMass might be even worse. Their highest NFL draft pick since 2000 would come back in 2010, when the New York Jets would select tackle Vlad Ducasse in the 2nd round with the 61st overall pick. He would play 4 years in the NFL, starting 51 games, never really being able to find a home. Still props for him for making it to the show though. Next team up in the MAC is the Miami, Ohio Redhawks, and this is mad random, but I used to have a running back on NCAA 2010 that played for that school. Brought them a couple of natties, won like 3 Heisman, so in all reality, I should probably be their highest NFL draft pick. More seriously though, for Miami, Ohio's highest NFL draft pick since 2000, we have to go all the way back to 2004 when the Pittsburgh Steelers would select Ben Roethlisberger with the 11th overall pick. I don't know if Big Ben is a Hall of Famer or not, but I do know you shouldn't let him into a strip club alone. Big Ben has had a great NFL career, won 2 Super Bowls, made a couple of Pro Bowls, but was never really the best quarterback in the NFL, but always top 10. So shout out to him, I guess. Leaving Ohio, we head over to Illinois for the next team up in the MAC, the Northern Illinois Huskies. Their draft history is pretty legit, having 2 first-round picks in the last 20 years, which for a MAC school is pretty insane. With their most recent one coming in 2014 when the San Francisco 49ers would select cornerback Jimmy Ward. But for their highest since 2000, we have to go back to 2009 when the San Diego Chargers would select linebacker Larry English with the 16th overall pick. Larry would play 6 years in the NFL, only starting a handful of games, but at least he got the bag. I don't know why, but for some reason I thought the Ohio Bobcats were an NFL factory. Don't ask me why, I just did. In reality, the school has only had 10 NFL draft picks since 2000, which is insanely low even for the MAC standard. So for the Ohio Bobcats' highest NFL draft pick since 2000, we have to go back to 2009, when the Oakland Raiders would select defensive back Mike Mitchell in the second round with the 47th overall pick. Mike Mitchell would play 10 years in the NFL, starting in 88 games. Was never a Pro Bowler, but was a decent piece on a couple of playoff teams later in his career. Next team up in the MAC is the Toledo Rockets, and this program really surprised me with some of their draft history. There's a couple of current NFL players who I'm sure some of you would be surprised to know was a Toledo alum, like running back Kareem Hunt, who was selected back in 2017 by the Kansas City Chiefs in the 3rd round, 86th overall, and wide receiver Deontay Johnson, who'd be selected also in the 3rd round, 66th overall by the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 solid NFL players and 2 stand-up guys, but neither are Toledo's highest draft pick, as that honor goes to cornerback Quinyon Mitchell, who was selected only last year 22nd overall by the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been in the league for 1 season, but he started 16 games for the eventual Super Bowl champs and looks to be a mainstay on that Philly defense for years to come. Last team left to talk about in the MAC conference is the Western Michigan Broncos. And this is one of the few teams whose highest NFL draft pick I already knew beforehand, and that's only because I covered Western Michigan in one of my Group of 5 videos. Check that out if you haven't already. So for Western Michigan's highest NFL draft pick since 2000, we have to go back to 2017 when the Tennessee Titans would select wide receiver Corey Davis 5th overall. He has yet to live up to the hype that comes with being the 5th overall pick, but he's managed to find work in the NFL for 6 years. And hey, you know what they say, 30 is the new 20, so he can still turn things around. Shout out to you if you made it this far in the video. Be sure to like, sub, and comment what conference or any video ideas you think would be interesting. I'm out.